What's going on, folks? This is the Sarge0079, aka Mr. Stealth himself, coming at you for the first time ever with a review of Driveclub. Probably either the most hated or liked racer this generation, depending on your viewpoint. So, let's get into the thickest things, shall we? When you start Driveclub, if you just have base Driveclub, you're going to just have Driveclub. And this is what you can get. You can get into a race, time trial, drift, or a sprint. Sprint is the newest added feature as of last year. Now, going on to the tour. Tour is going to give you a bevy of things, especially if you buy the season pass. The basic tour will last you a while. Then they added start line and all stars. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's scroll over 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, you get the point. You got a lot of tours to do. Going into the multiplayer, what you have here is based on the event browser. In the event browser, you have everything laid out in 10-minute increments of rotating events. And in these events, you can sign up anytime. Once you sign up, it'll throw you into the match, and you know, the only bad thing is that you have to stay on this menu, else it'll cancel your match queue. Moving on from that, we have 6 different locations, each with 13 different tracks, which we'll be getting some more later on. Car variety, we have up to 110 cars, ranging from hot hatches all the way to hypercars. My favorite hyper being the Ferrari FXXK. And then, as of last year, they also added bikes. Bikes gives you a whole new dimension on the game, but also gives you at least 15 bikes to choose from. My current favorite is the Yamaha H2 Ninja H2. Moving on, we will now hit up the menu system. Not menu system, but the actual club profile, or my profile. And then on your profile, it'll show you your stats, your current position in the world, what you need. And currently I'm on prestige level 2, heading to prestige level 3. Those are my current objectives that I have to reach. So every time I want a prestige, I at least gotta beat a time trial. On here you can see all your connections with peeps that you have on your friends list. And you can also see who's in your current club. I'm currently the owner. Jabbar transferred ownership, so on to the club profile. Club profile again shows you your current club rating, where y'all stand in the world, and your club level. Edit the privacy and other options. And then we can also go in, and they added this little feature where you can modify your own character. Modifying your own character is basically, you got a bunch of templates. You can choose different styles for that character to wear, depending on if they're a biker or a driver, and different helmets to wear. And even you can pick their gender, being male or female. It just, you know, it's basic, it's simple. You won't be really seeing the driver too much. You'll see their hands more than likely. Unless you're looking at the replay, then you'll see more of the driver sometimes. Now, the ever long gloved photo mode. Photo mode has been popping up in a lot of PS4 exclusives, and Driveclub is not the last one that it's popped up in. But I can damn sure tell you this. This may be the most beautiful game you can ever take photos in. Just for the simple fact that these vehicles are rendered so meticulously. They can even fool the actual dealers of these cars. Dealers of these cars and vehicles have been fooled by these photos sometimes because they look just that good. As you can see, I'm taking pictures of the Yamaha, Kawasaki Ninja H2. I'm sorry if I messed it up earlier. And also the Nissan GTR Nismo edition, which both of these are very sexy vehicles. I use the Nismo a lot, and I'm actually going to use it in the last video to demonstrate another feature that Driveclub added with dynamic weather. Dynamic weather was that feature that was supposed to be in Driveclub at launch, but never made it. until a couple of patches after the game dropped, and then they finally like, hey, now you can do dynamic weather. And Lord, I can tell you right now, when dynamic weather hit, it really brought Driveclub back to life for me, because I was in that state of disappointment with Driveclub because it came out so bare bones that it just didn't feel like what they had presented to me at first. Now here's the flip side. With that dynamic weather, there's some situations you just don't want to race in. One of those being in the middle of the night. Now, compared to day racing with weather, racing at night with weather is a whole nother beast. It's scary. It's an adrenaline rush in itself, because driving in first person through the cockpit view in the middle of the night with this type of condition where you cannot see the road, you can barely see anything on the side of the road, it really makes you just realize how detailed this game really is. So now I'm gonna break all this down into what I like and what I don't like about Driveclub, because I've been just spitting out a whole bunch of things. So I'm gonna condense it down to this. My likes of Driveclub: it's a racer that harkens back to the old school style where you really didn't focus on micromanaging the car, adding upgrades. It's just pure racing to where if you can race clean, if you can race fast, you will more than likely win that race 9 times out of 10. It's a racer that gives you a pretty good selection of cars without giving you too many overwhelming options on the cars. Like you might have the 2015 version, 2016, so on. So you have different year marks. It's pretty much focusing on a set number of cars. Of course, Driveclub is probably the most beautiful racer this gen. Not saying that it's competing heavily with other racers, but this is by far on console the most beautiful racer you could probably ever experience. And secondly, controls are awesome. Even at 30 frames a second, which I knocked it at first, and which is also one of my cons, it's still a great game. It's smooth, it operates well. Now we get on to the con side of things. The cons for this game were, of course, at launch, multiplayer servers were not adequate. They weren't functioning. At launch, we also didn't have dynamic weather. Now, with the bare bones statement that I made earlier, yes, it's great to have a bare bones racer, and yes, we do have options as far as painting our, adding different skins to our cars, even though they're limited. A lot of people want customization, and Driveclub doesn't offer that, so I'm gonna have to throw that in there as a con. Even though personally for me, I don't care, because I'm racing, it's not really affecting me. And the last thing would have to be, I guess it would have to be the lack of damage, like insignificant damage. Even though I understand the premise, it's an arcade racer, arcade sim hybrid, so damage really wasn't going to factor into it anyway, but I know a lot of people wanted to see it. So that's it's kind of like, I like the idea of not having damage affecting the racing, but I also understand why some people want it in there, because if you drive clean, you won't see that reflected. So overall, my final judgment on Driveclub, I would have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's one of my personal favorite racers. 7.5 is not a bad score. I personally love this game to death. I cannot stop playing this game. Even it's just like on the weekend, I might pick it up and play it. But end of the day, this is a good race. I suggest you go pick it up. It's cheap. You really don't have to spend that much on it. And that's it. This is Mr. Stealth himself, and I'm